All right, y'all, here we go.
All right, folks, we're going to be coming at you live from Lincoln Center with none other than Stacy Bennett. Been in the business a little over 2 years, and in the last 12 months has closed $9 million in sales. You're going to find out how she did it next on Cliff's Notes. Real estate agents, are you struggling with the day-to-day grind, dialing for dollars, putting in hours of floor time with little to show for it? Are you looking for tips, tricks, and tactics to accelerate your career as an agent that will have you closing more homes, working with more clients, and earning more money than ever before? Hi, my name's Cliff Freeman, and I've spent the past 2 decades of my real estate career running one of the top brokerages in DFW and personally coaching over 1,000 high-performing real estate professionals across North America. I created this podcast to share the strategies and tactics you need to explode your real estate business. I guarantee it. All right, folks, always guaranteeing it right here, and we definitely guarantee it today, right, C3?
Yes, sir. We're on it. Like a rat on a Cheeto.
Like a rat on a Cheeto.
Yeah.
That's
Charles,
a DFW thing.
Have you heard that one before?
I don't think I've heard that one before.
Okay.
Me either.
Well, we got to give credit where credit's due. Thank you, Michael Reese. We're borrowing that and sharing it. But I'm talking like a rat on a Cheeto, yes.
Yes,
for
sir.
sure.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
absolutely. And to your left, would you introduce this rock star, please?
Yeah, to my left, this is the wonderful Mrs. Lovely, Stacy Bennett. And she recently just joined our team.
She just joined, yes.
Yes.
She's the
Welcome.
newest member to the Cliff Freeman Group.
Welcome. Very exciting. Very excited.
And, well, we're super stoked to have you. You've been in the real estate business a short, really, little over 2 years now.
Yep.
And you were one of those shooting stars who got out of the gate so fast, it was incredible. And we've got a great story. So if you're watching this TV podcast today and you're new in the business or contemplating maybe a career in real estate, because a lot of people are afraid right now because of all the chaos and all of the stuff you're hearing in the media. But let me tell you something. This is the best time you could ever get into real estate. You're going to find out why today, okay? How's that? Is that cool?
Lay it on them.
We're going to lay it on you, baby. Dropping nuggets. All right, Stacy.
Where's that
so,
mic?
So $9 million in sales in the last 12 months.
12 months, yes.
And this is pretty much you play by ear. You're pretty much self-taught. You've never even had a coach.
Correct. Yep. I just said I'm doing it. And I had a couple really good people that in the beginning that were there to answer questions and kind of get me going. But yeah, I just said I have to make it. I'm not going back to corporate America, period.
Okay. So we always tell the story about burning the boats. You literally burned the boats. There was no plan B. You said, I'm doing this. I'm going to be successful, and that's it.
Yes. Absolutely yes, period.
Yes,
Hard
period.
stop.
Okay. All right. So, C3, you and I talk about this a lot because we've had several, really, really solid agents, celebrities on the show. And there's always something when we kind of dig a little deeper and peel the onion back, we always find something that sparked this sort of fire that these great agents have in common. So Stacy, if you don't mind, let's walk backwards here a little bit.
Okay.
And let's see if we can share with the audience maybe some of the things that impacted you as you were growing up that contributed to this incredible desire, this will to persevere. What was it like growing up as little Stacy in Irving, Texas?
So I'm an only child. My mom was a single parent that worked at Texas Instruments. That's old school. And she was in the Defense Department. She did the Stinger missile and the Tomahawk. Who knew? I didn't know that until after she died, right? Security clearance. So she worked 3 jobs so I could enjoy school, basically. So I didn't have to really have a part-time job, this and that. And so she retired from TI after 33 years to take care of my grandmother. And, she had some money that she lost in 9/11. And I swore right then that, well, I will not do that. That will not be me. As soon as my son graduates, I'm going to do something where I can generate my own future, my own legacy, basically, is what I want to do for him. And so after that, I became a recruiter, which did teach me a lot about sales, taught me a lot of things, period, about people and kind of how to handle that and diversity a little bit. And so once I said I'm giving that up as well, I sold my home so I would have some money and went for it.
Okay, so let's go back at that sort of zero moment of truth where 9/11 happened. You saw your mother take a spill
Yep.
financially. You decided it's me, play big or go home.
Yes.
Right? And you knew at that point you had the confidence to go through and do it. So
Yes.
you got into corporate recruiting.
It took a little while because I was afraid because I had my son still, and I was like, we have to have a certain amount of money to live. I was wary to give that up, but once he was old enough, I was done.
But you wanted to get as far away as you could from where your mom
Yes,
was, right?
absolutely, yes.
You never wanted to be in that position that she was in.
I did not want to work 3 jobs that were just paying the bills, and I certainly didn't want to be impacted by something happening out of our control that took every single cent I had.
Okay, so fair enough. Psychologists call that an internal locus of control.
Okay.
In other words, you focus on the things here, not the things out there that you have no control over. So you made a conscious decision to take control of your life
Yes.
and go build a dream.
Yes.
And your vehicle at that time was corporate recruiting.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, how long were you in corporate recruiting?
6, 7 years.
6, 7 years. Let me guess, were you successful?
Yes. That's when I first decided, oh, this could work.
Okay, so a little social proof,
Yes,
right? Now,
yes.
when you're doing recruiting, you're having to go kill your paycheck every week, right?
Yes. Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you get paid based on who you
Who I place.
connect
Yeah.
and place and that sort of thing.
Yes.
So you're used to that. Okay, I've got a 100% commission
Yeah.
thing mentality. I can, I've just got to push through because I have to pay the bills, right?
Yes.
All right.
Or have a big, huge draw to pay back. One of the two.
Oh, or a huge draw. Right. Okay. Because at least in corporate recruiting, you had a draw.
Yeah, you could get a draw.
You don't get a draw in real estate.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing 5 closes a month, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm disappointed. So, and that's small, really. Like if I could do 10, 12, I mean, the sky's the limit, really. As long as you're going for it, you can close as many deals as you want to, really.
Okay. What was it did you have an epiphany that said, I love the corporate recruiting, but I'm really built for real estate? How did you get into real estate, of all things?
So I went to sell my family home. My grandmother and my mom left it to me. And I had a really bad experience with my real estate agent. And I said, I will not let this happen to someone else. This is a wake-up call for me. This is what I want to do. I want to make sure no one else deals with this. Because it was terrible.
And that's what motivated you to go to real estate school, get a
Yes.
license. And
Yep.
did you know how much income potential there was in real estate at the time?
No idea. I mean, I was really clueless. I don't have any friends that were realtors, like nothing, really. And I just said, we had talked about doing some flips, my husband and I, and we did one before I got my license. And I was like, I could have my license and not have to pay this agent. No offense, she was a good agent. So, but I thought, I could do this myself, and it's all about me. I can make my own way. And that's when I said, I'm going to get my license and never look back.
Okay.
Now, how did your husband feel about that? Were you married at the time?
So I wasn't married at the time,
Okay.
but he was really pushing me to do it. He was like, yes, let's do it, is what he was saying. Let's do it.
Okay.
And so we did. I did.
Yeah.
And so it's been wonderful. It's been a great experience. There's been ups and downs, of course, but way more ups and downs.
All right. Your first year in the business, tell us about that. Tell us about your first transaction.
So my first transaction was I had met someone. I have a luxury listing certification, and I was at that, and I met someone that I asked would he help me. He'd been doing it 7 years or something like that, and he was like, yes. So we kind of would role play in the mornings and things. He was very helpful, and he walked me through it. And I know I was thinking, you know, I don't really have a lot of messy transactions, but the first one was just a lot of questions, just a lot of what if this, what if that. And then I had someone that could look it over, so that was good. But it's been really good experience. I don't have a lot of
That was
downs.
still, it was pretty smooth,
It's
right?
pretty smooth.
Your first deal? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you come to the table, you bring a good bit of sales experience
Yeah.
with you, so we got to definitely give you credit for that. Yeah, it's not like you walked out of the door from 12th grade and said, okay, I'm going to go start selling houses, right?
Yeah,
from high
I mean,
school.
it's definitely something that you have to decide you want to do. It's a lot of talking, and which is different, really. Listening, I guess you should say, is different than just talking, which I'm used to talking because I want them to take this job, which that's an easy sell. Of course they want the job. That's, you know, talking someone off the ledge, explaining what's going to happen, going over the steps 10 times is different because you have to listen to what they're saying. So that was a change for me.
Okay. And, you know, real estate, we've got things called scripts and dialogues, and you mentioned role play a minute ago,
Yeah.
right? So did you have to practice for your corporate recruiting job? Was there role playing and stuff like that?
No,
Not
we didn't
much?
really role play. I mean,
Okay.
you had to make sure you knew, it was a technical recruiting, so you had to make sure you knew the technical,
The lingo
the lingo.
and- right.
But really, it's true. I could, if I say, hey, I'm going to give you this much an hour, you're making this much, there's a no-brainer, right? And they're like, yeah.
Okay.
Because technical people are money driven because they switch jobs all the time. It's contract.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an easy sell.
So to go from recruiting into real estate transactions, you have to kind of learn the language of real estate.
Yeah.
Right? So role playing, tell us about some of the habits that you think are important for really highly successful agents to have.
Get organized.
Get organized.
Because when I first started, I was like, oh, it's free for all, basically. I can do whatever I want to during the day, and money will just start flying in. But that's not true.
Well, it's not. I thought the money tree just started dropping.
That's what I thought. I was
money
like, where
in
is
your
it?
front yard when you got your real estate license. I mean,
But
my
you have
neighbor
to-
pulled in a new Cadillac into her driveway.
Yes,
and-
like, where is
yeah.
that?
Right, right.
But I did find that I'm not super structured. So that was one of the things I had to do. I had to time block, I guess you would say.
Okay.
And when I do that, I'm way more successful is not the word I'm looking for, but proficient.
Okay, maybe efficient.
Efficient, definitely.
More better use of your time.
Because
Okay.
I can sit back and be like, hey, I'm watching, TV all day, and hopefully someone calls me and wants to see a house. But that rarely happens.
Right.
So, I have to follow up. And that's the one thing that I would say is important is to just make time.
Okay. Make time. Audience members, write down time
Make time.
management, time blocking.
Yep.
Put a check mark by it. That's
Yes.
number one. How important is it to learn how to implement systems in your business?
Very. Also tried, didn't work. Now I'm trying. It does work. If
Okay.
you have someone, because you'll find like, oh, I've got 10 people in the pipeline, but now I only have 3 because I forgot to follow up with 7. Because you get focused on the people that you're showing and not the people that are maybe a month out, 3 months out. And those are really the ones that you need to focus on because they have, 60,000 other options they could go with as far as an agent.
Right.
And so follow up and keeping them in a system, touching them is absolutely necessary.
Okay. We call that
FU money. Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
Follow-up money.
Yeah.
And the reason why we do is because most agents will give up if they're not now buyers, if they don't want to go out and look at houses, they throw them back in the pond, right? Go figure.
It's rejected. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Right. Right.
Yes.
So,
And it's easy to do that,
Yeah.
definitely, because you get so busy with people looking, you're just like, oh, I don't want to, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do that next week, or oh, let me remind myself. And then eventually they're like, oh, I found someone. And you're like, oh,
And then you end up with a month with no sales.
yes.
And then you're like, how did that happen?
How'd that happen?
Yeah.
Right?
We call those no money,
No money
Novembers.
Novembers. Yes.
No money
Yeah.
Novembers. Skinny kids and nothing under the tree.
Yeah, no
Right.
presents.
Yeah.
Bad
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah. So, well, that's interesting. And so follow-up is important. What about prospecting? Tell us about how do you prospect and how do you lead generate?
So I do cold calls like anyone else to expireds, to for sale by owners, to, farm, my neighborhoods, things like that. And then I have a paid service as well.
Okay.
And I felt that was necessary, especially just starting, because I don't have a huge sphere yet. And so it's been beneficial definitely for the paid leads. I know people are like iffy on that, but for a new agent, I felt like I had to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Some might say enhance your lead, lead flow, or
What's the word I'm looking for here? Oh my
they read
gosh.
each other's minds all the time. It's the craziest
It's only like
damn
the third
thing I've
week,
ever
I
seen.
think. Yeah.
Invest.
Invest.
I feel
Right.
like I had to invest.
Invest. Oh, that's the fourth thing. Real estate agents don't
Investing
invest
in their
their
own
Yeah,
business.
and I
Yeah.
felt
Hoarders.
like that
Yes,
was a
right?
setup for
Okay.
failure if I didn't,
Right.
especially beginning.
Yeah.
'Cause now that I have a pipeline of people, okay, I can work that, but at first I didn't have anything, so I was like, this is a big investment monthly,
Okay.
but it definitely paid off.
All right, let's go recap those four things real quick. Time management, time blocking, implementation,
Yep.
follow-up, and lastly,
Follow-up.
invest in your business. Don't be a hoarder, okay? When you make real estate commission, take some of that back and put it back in your business. All right.
If you don't, then
If you don't, then your business doesn't grow.
it doesn't
go
flow.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Excellent. All right. So, a lot of people like you who go to real estate school don't really plan what happens after real estate school. And I've often said that real estate agents will spend more time planning their summer vacation than they do choosing the broker they want to align with, okay?
Yeah. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how did you choose your first broker when you were still wet behind the ears, fresh out of real estate school?
So I chose. I went with one of my instructor's brokerages.
Okay, that's a layup, low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's still someone I'm in contact with. I still appreciate everything he has to offer me. But that is how now, if I would have known any different, I may have maybe interviewed more, maybe asked different questions. So that's another thing I would definitely say. Don't feel obligated. You make the choice of what works for you.
Yeah. It can't be about
Yeah.
that relationship that you have with somebody. It's got to be about what's best for your family and for yourself.
And there's a lot of brokerages, and a lot of them offer lots of different things. So maybe one works for what you're looking for, but I say talk to several.
So are there any questions that come to mind that you think would be good for maybe people in our audience to know to ask when they're interviewing brokers?
Ask them, are you going to have a mentor? What's the implementation? What services do you have? What tech do you have? How is that going to work for me? Can you show me?
Okay.
Do be a show me. Ask for a show me.
Got it.
Rather than to tell me
Yes,
everything.
ask for a show me
That's
rather
what we
than
like
tell
to
me.
use
Yes.
a lot is
Would it have been helpful for you to talk with any of the agents that were already there at the broker to see how their
Absolutely.
experience
So I did do that. I
did
did
do
talk
that?
to some,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
But it's funny. You want to just maybe do it yourself. Like, don't take the ones that they're sending you.
They cherry pick.
Yeah. So
Right.
maybe ask those too, but then find your own also, and just kind of randomly ask. Do you like it? What does
Super
it look like?
important.
What does a transaction look like when you
Right.
do it? What start to finish? What if you have a question? How does that work? Because it's nothing worse than being stuck like, I can't get a hold of anybody. Now what?
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
So what are some of the things? What are some of the things you want to watch out for? Okay. One would be lack of support.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you mean by that? Give us an example.
Like this is me. I want to, if I need to call you at midnight, I need to call you at midnight.
Okay.
Like I just want to have someone's phone number. Maybe you don't answer, but I want to call that number and know it's not like an 800. It's not automated. I want someone's number.
Yes, yeah, we will, yeah, I got you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want to know, like, oh, in the morning they're going to call me.
Right.
I'm not in a queue of 15 people that they're never going to get to today.
Yeah.
It'll be, 2 days from now because I've got a broker question. So what's up?
Right. And you want to make sure it's not one of those drunk calls, right? It's like, what's that country western song? It's 2:30 in the morning and I'm drunk and I want to see you, or whatever that song. Well, I forgot.
That's
what.
any country song.
Any country song. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Someone's. Okay.
We were just talking about Post Malone. How we got on to country, I don't know. Travis, we got to play some Post Malone. Can you cue up some Post for us back there? Let us know when you got it ready. All right. So other things. What about how important is it? Because when most people start in real estate, all the brokers say, well, go to friends and family first, right? And then all of a sudden they blow up their friends and family and they have no other.
No friends and family left?
Yeah, no
Right.
friends, no
They have
family.
no friends and no
no more
family.
leads, right?
Right.
So how important is it that your broker either teaches you how or helps you generate leads? Is that important to a new agent?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Like you have to, it's a learned technique. Like you don't know how to just pick up the phone and be like, hi. And then it's like, then you don't know what to say. And then when they hang up on you, you're like, I'm never going to make a call again.
Right.
I'm never going to pick this phone up. Then it really becomes like the 1,000-pound phone.
Yeah.
Like never going to happen again.
Right.
So if you have someone like the role playing, like every morning I was like, oh God, I got to role play with this guy again. Like it was a nightmare. I was like dreading it every 9 a.m. But I'll tell you, he was like, oh, you don't want to do it, we'll have to. And I was like, no, I do want to. Like he wasn't like, you have to. But he was like, let's just do it. And, it just made it easier.
Right.
Of course, he's being kind to me, right? He's not going click or whatever. But
Right.
it still made it a lot easier to have someone that you knew was in your corner, regardless if you
Right.
messed up or you cussed or whatever he may do, right?
That's
So-
why they, honestly, that's why friends and family are going to put up the least resistance. So that's why you start on those, right? It's funny how in medical school, you don't start working on live people
No.
for a long time, right? They have you working on dead people. You're
Sorry.
going to be making noise with your microphone there. And the reason you work on dead people is because you don't want to kill any live people. And can you imagine if you're in medical school, in your second year, and you did something wrong and somebody died? I mean, but that's the way people feel when they get on the phone and they're not properly prepared and haven't role played. They feel like they killed somebody and they don't
Yes.
ever want that feeling
That's
again.
yes,
isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And if someone, it's like you have to not take it personal, and that's huge for people because it is personal because this is our business, and what we have to say and what we are trying to offer is important.
Right.
Like this is our profession. Like we are professionals. Don't hang up on me. Don't cuss me out. Just say not interested, but they don't. And so I had to learn not to take it personal. Like they don't know me. They have no idea. And I don't know them, and I don't know what they've gone through. Maybe they've had a car wreck,
Right.
and they're just having a bad morning.
That's
Now, one of the
exactly right.
toughest calls that we make in real estate is to an expired listing. Because that person, their house didn't sell. They've had people going through it, messing their day up, going through, who knows, stealing whatever their house, the whole, not if they're
coin
with a
collection.
realtor, but right, if the FSBOs especially don't know how to properly
Yeah.
screen people when they come in. And falling in love with another realtor is the last thing on their mind. And how many calls does it take you before, if you're calling expired sellers and trying to get a listing appointment, how many calls do you have to make before you get one that finally says, you know what, okay, I'm willing to listen, or I'll talk with you?
10?
10.
10.
Okay. You know what the industry average is?
100.
Probably, yeah, it's probably closer to 100 than 10, which makes it really difficult because you don't have a lot of wins between all those
Right,
losses, right? I mean, at least when you're playing baseball, you're going to hit 1 out of 3. Okay.
Well, the expireds, it's tricky, right? Like you're saying, like you may get an appointment, you may not get the listing,
Right.
but I can get an appointment. And normally, if I can get an appointment, it's much better to get the second. It's a process still. The for sale by owner is a trick for me. I rarely can get them to come off of it.
Okay. We're gonna make you snap good on for sale by owner. I know you just joined the firm.
Yeah.
But we'll work with you on that. We've got a for sale by owner plan that's gonna help you win every one of those.
Good, because
So-
they need help.
They do.
They do. Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple that I've done deals with, and they're super sweet, but it's amazing.
Well, they sell one house and they think they know everything there is
Yeah,
about
that's
selling
true, that's
houses.
true.
I mean, I still, even if I'd done one kidney transplant, I still wouldn't do it my own. I mean, I'd still
Right.
get a doctor to do or LASIK surgery, or I'm not going to mess with that stuff. Right?
Right.
It's incredible. So listings. What would you say your favorite part of the business is? Buyers or sellers?
I'm going to say buyers. I know that's not popular.
But you're being honest.
Yes, because sellers, I'll tell you, they're hard to deal with a lot of times because they don't want to know the real value of their home. Not really.
Sure.
And they don't. I mean, that's just my thought. Buyer, it's always a very happy time. The seller is emotionally attached.
Right. They're selling their memories.
Their
are locked
memories.
Up in
They're
that
selling.
house, right?
Yes, and so you're telling the neighbor sold for 600,000, but they need to sell for 400,000. They're not hearing it. They're
So
not
have,
understanding.
They have neighbor envy.
Yeah,
That's what
yes.
it is, right?
I'm like, well, the neighbor has a kitchen in the backyard kitchen, and
Yeah.
you have 1978 carpet. Like, but you can't. You have to finesse it a little bit, but it's tricky.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you ever show potential sellers? Do you ever take them on a tour of the other houses in their neighborhood?
I haven't.
Oh.
I haven't, but I have shown them. I have shown them, but I have not actually taken them to a tour. That's true. No.
Okay. Sometimes that's a wake up call.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it would be. I need
Yeah.
to put that in my arsenal.
Yeah. At least, when you walk over and you have the MLS pictures, right?
Yeah.
You can show them that. Interesting. All right. So buyers are your favorite because you love that. It's just like it's like the kid shaking the box under the Christmas tree, right? Can't wait to get it open and play with it. Okay, gotcha. What are your plans? I know because you're growth minded.
Yep.
I mean, you started out at zero, as we all do, and you did $9 million in sales in the last 12 months. By the way, what's your primary market?
Irving.
Irving. Okay. What's the average sales price that you deal with there?
Well, South Irving, we've got 300. North Irving, it's 600.
Okay.
So I do both of those. So
Somewhere 4-ish, 5-ish?
I would say 450. Yeah.
450? Okay, that's really, really good. Yeah. If we look back, isn't it funny? 2 years ago, I mean, house prices are up almost 50% in the Metroplex. All the agents in this area got a 50% raise without even doing anything.
Yes.
It's crazy to think about that, isn't it?
That's wonderful.
It's
Keeping up
wonderful,
with
yes.
inflation. Yes.
It is, yeah. It's keeping up with inflation barely now, right? Yeah, no kidding. So, would you recommend how should a new agent look at the world? Should they go in and try to conquer a small piece of it, or what do new agents need to do? What kind of how should they approach this business? Just spill out your thoughts on advice that you could give a new agent.
Learn what you can, learn everything you can. Find what works for you. If you need to call from 9 to 11, follow up from 11 to 1, whatever. But you have to do whatever it takes, whether it's driving from one side of town to the other, Fort Worth to Weatherford to Denton. It's just, you have to it's a grind, and you have to put your time in.
Okay.
To kind of work out what works best. It takes a minute to figure out, like, oh, I don't want to deal with sellers. Oh, I don't want to deal with buyers. Then you have to work even harder to get sellers. So you just have to, it's a grind. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes at first.
Yeah, a lot of agents get into the business, Stacy, for 3 reasons, right? They want to own their own business. They want to set their own schedule, And they want the promise of untold money income, right? They all get the first two.
We all want that Lambo.
But yes,
Coming into the driveway.
the purple, the purple Lamborghini. But really, only about, honestly, what, 10% make enough money in this business to call it a career,
Yeah.
something like that. That's pretty crazy. So you're talking about the grind, the discipline. How many hours a week do you work at real estate?
Oh my. So there's 24 hours in a day. So I work all the time. And I feel like that is one thing that I hope to not be doing all the time, spending more time with my family, my husband. But I just thought, I have to give it everything I have at first to get myself set up for success in the oncoming years.
Okay.
So I try to do 8 o'clock cutoff, but that doesn't always happen because I'll get a call at 8:15. Hey, can you show me this house tomorrow? Well, yeah, but not tonight. I won't do any showings though. After
Not
7.
that late.
I
After
don't
7?
think you
Yeah.
can schedule
Yeah.
showings after 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's unless it's
challenge.
vacant, which then I'm
Fair
even
enough.
yeah. So then
Yeah.
I'm just
Midnight showings, yes.
that's like our next show, midnight showings.
So what about agents that want to try to do this business part-time?
No,
No.
Why no?
I just don't see how it. If you mean and work somewhere else?
Yeah. Like
Part-time,
this
yeah,
is their real estate's their side hustle.
Oh, I don't know how you can because your people are going to be like, well, I'll find someone that can see it today at 3. That's how I feel. I mean, I would, if I was someone calling and saying, yeah, can I see this today at 3? No, I'm doing this. Unless I had a relationship with them, I would be put off by that. And I would want to find someone else because I feel like I need to accommodate my client more than they need to accommodate me. And I feel like a part-time agent, not that I don't think they could make money, I just don't know how, in my opinion, successful that will be.
Yeah.
Not the successful I want anyway.
Right.
And
So
it's
go ahead.
It's really not even like that sustainable either.
Yeah, I don't,
If you think about it, there's
there's a lot of agents.
and a lot of moving parts in a
Yeah.
real estate transaction too.
And you bring up an interesting point is, as real estate agents, we have to be ready to work when our clients are ready for help.
Yes.
Right.
And most of them
They all have
are
jobs.
W-2 gainfully employed.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
God. We hope they are.
Yes,
Yes, right?
we don't want any.
Yeah, we don't want to
bank statement
surprises.
loans.
Yeah.
I will do a bank statement loan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as they qualify.
As long as it's over $1 million.
Yeah. But, I mean, so we really work like mall hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
Retail, yeah.
Retail hours,
That's
right?
true, that's
yeah,
true.
thank you. Which, I mean, it kind of fits to a part-time schedule, but the problem is during the day, you got to be prospecting. You're out showing in the evenings and on the weekends, but during the day, you got to prospect. How many hours a week do you prospect?
I would say out of 5 days, probably 15, 16 hours.
I was hoping you would say that.
So that's a couple hours a day.
Couple hours a day,
we,
yeah.
we say 2 to 3 hours a day minimum is what you got to have.
Yeah, I
okay?
think minimum. I mean, if I'm slammed all day, then no. But I mean, for the most part, I try to at least do 2 hours of some type of prospecting, whether it's follow up or new calls or whatever.
So
All right.
do you also tether in open houses with that as well for the weekends? Or
So I'm not an open houser,
Not an open houser. Okay.
and I don't know why. I have done open houses. I would rather prospect another way.
Got it. It's just your form of
Yeah.
Yeah.
the way of doing the business.
There's a lot,
A lot
of
of
ways to
different
get to
ways.
the top.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
not just one trail.
No, this is not
Yeah.
a one-trick pony.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. All right. So I.
What
knew this
happened?
was
We
gonna
talked
happen.
about this, right?
Right.
Oh
it's gonna
my
go
gosh.
fast. So I want to kind of sum things up here a little bit. Tell us what are your plans for the next 12 to 24 months?
So my plan is to have it, yes, to blow up. I want to get a team here in Dallas and a team in Colorado. So I can spend some time there with my family.
You were talking
Okay.
about kind of giving,
Yeah.
time in Texas and
yeah.
Colorado because your kid
Yeah.
lives up in Colorado and you have grandkids up there
Yes.
now. Yeah, that's awesome.
I just don't know how that works because I don't want to, I mean, it's hard, right? Like you do 6 and 6, but then what about the people that are here for the
Yeah.
last 6?
Yeah.
Or the first 6 there?
Right.
So I've got to work that out with you.
Well, but
how to do it.
the beauty about it is that we're one broker. The thing about
Yes.
EXP, a lot of people may or may not know, is that you can have your Colorado business, your Texas business. It's not a you don't have to go fight for territory and go buy a franchise and all that. You say, I'm going to Fort Collins or wherever, Boulder, Golden, wherever you want to set up shop, and you're in. You're done, right? So
Yes.
that would be awesome. I know your son's up there, and you know he's potentially interested in real estate. So this really is a perfect fit for.
Yes, so
for
it
what
was
you
an
wanna do.
absolute perfect fit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm so excited. I'm really happy. You know, at this season in my life, there's nothing that gets me excited more than helping people attain their goals, reach their goals in this business. That way you don't have to get the gray hair and, the lack thereof. We give you a shortcut, you know, and you can learn off of our bumps and bruises as opposed to having to go figure this stuff out on your own. So I got to tell you, I'm super excited to
Me
be
too. Thank
working
you.
with you currently and in the future, and we're going to help you make those dreams come true.
Oh,
You have my
and
guarantee.
Get a membership at the Cowboys Club.
And a membership at the Cowboys.
I saw your picture with Michael Irvin.
Yes,
Right?
I love Michael Irvin.
All right.
All
Good
right,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I've actually started to get gray hairs.
Yeah.
In case you were wondering.
Yeah.
From being in the real estate business.
True that, true that.
Really?
No, I'm serious. I have 4.
Yeah. You have 4?
Four.
Okay. That's just
They're either
wisdom.
blonde or they're gray.
Yeah.
I can't tell, but
I'd say they're probably blonde.
I
Yeah.
think they're
Yeah.
gray.
You think they're gray?
I don't know.
I don't
might
know.
have to get you to start.
Pulling them out.
Well, we'll get your hair gray, then we'll start working on the wrinkles. Okay? How's that?
Wow, that was a low blow. Thanks, Dad.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here you have her right here. This rock star, 9 million in the trailing 12 months, just barely starting her second year rather.
Yes.
And just crushing it. And we're
And?
so glad to have you here. And
Did you get an offer accepted?
Yes.
Since being with the team?
Absolutely,
right.
yes.
So
so you've been over here, what, a grand total of 24 hours?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
you've already
yes.
had an offer
Yes.
accepted. So, man, that's just fantastic. Well, welcome
That's
aboard.
true, yes.
Yeah, we're overjoyed to have you with us.
Thank
Can't
you.
wait. We
I
got
can't
the Build
wait. I'm
conference
excited.
coming up in August with Tony Robbins.
Oh,
We're going to
yeah.
get you there. Look at EXPCon in Vegas in October, and then that cruise.
We're gonna get her
the
on
one and
there.
only
The
December 11th
cruise.
through the 18th with Gary De Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hey.
And if you're in the audience and you
Yep.
were thinking about maybe leveling up here, contact us December 11th through the 18th. We're going on the Allure of the Seas.
Allure of the
It's an
Seas.
Oasis class boat down to Roatan, Costa Maya, and Cozumel. But more importantly, we're going to get an NLP certification in self-leadership from none other than
Mr. Gary De Rodriguez,
the one and
yes.
the only. Yeah.
And Aaron, I'm talking to you too. You're coming with Stacy.
All right, guys. Well, Stacy, thank you again for being
Thank
on the
you.
show. Let's go back. We got a bunch of phone calls to make on the way
Yes.
back, so we're going to hit it hard. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for being here. You now have my permission to go back, get on the phone, and start getting your 3 hours of prospecting in today. All right? Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week right here on
Cliff's Notes.
All right, folks, tune in to Cliff's Notes every Thursday at 1 o'clock Central for the tips, tricks, and tactics to explode your business. I guarantee.